Did you know there is one skill set, one habit, one absolute every major religion and philosophy wants you to have? The ability to stand up for yourself. You can find it in all lands of Abrahamic religions. The Dharmic traditions teach it as well. Spiritual paths recognize it, and so do the pagan traditions. The left-hand path embraces it, and for the non-religious, you can find it in opposing life philosophies too. This single idea is threaded through every belief system mentioned above. Let's take a look. Christianity. Gospel of Matthew. Matthew 10:28. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both the soul and body in hell. In this passage, Jesus is speaking to his followers about the persecution they will face proclaiming faith in the gospel. Earlier in Matthew 10:22, Jesus is directly telling his disciples that they will be hated because of him, but those who stand firm until the end will be saved. Standing firm in faith requires the ability to endure pressure. Your very faith encourages strength in your convictions. If you believe in something deeply enough, you must be willing to stand firm in it, even under pressure. Judaism. Tanakh. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. After Moses died, God speaks to Joshua and commands him to lead the Israelites across the Jordan River into the Promised Land. This Promised Land would be littered with obstacles for Joshua and the people Moses once led to reach their homeland. They had to remain brave. They had to believe that the Lord will protect them. Joshua was being asked to lead an entire nation into uncertainty, and that responsibility demanded a courageous response. The Lord expects courage and strength from his followers, but you cannot live boldly if you fold under pressure. Islam. Quran 4:135. O you who believe, stand firmly for justice, as witnesses to Allah, even if it be against yourselves, your parents, or close relatives. This verse appears in Surah An-Nisa, a chapter dealing with justice, social responsibility, and building a morally ordered society, highlighting justice and honesty as foundational requirements for a society to survive. The surah emphasizes that faith in Allah guides believers towards justice and integrity. It goes on to warn believers to beware of hypocrisy, which prevents someone from being a true follower of Allah. Can you stand in your truth? What about when faced with opposition and pressure, people who want your truth to mirror their needs? Can you handle this? Standing firm under pressure is not easy. It requires discipline and courage, but it can be learned. Buddhism. Hakosa Sutta. If someone gives a gift and it is not accepted, to whom does the gift belong? This discourse paints the story of when a Brahmin insulted the Buddha. The Buddha refused to accept the insult offered to him, so it remains with the person offering it. In this story, the Buddha's self-restraint and commitment to nonviolence are clear, as it's easy for us to become insulted and attack in response to being hurt. But to live an enlightened life is to reject your sense of ego. When someone insults you, what part of yourself is actually harmed? Do your eardrums blow? Do you feel a stabbing or bruising pain? Probably neither. Do you accept the anger others project onto you? Or have you learned to restrain? Do you have the ability to stay calm? Hindu. Bhagavad Gita 2:3. Yield not to unmanliness, O Arjuna. It does not benefit thee. Cast off this petty faint-heartedness and arise, O scorcher of enemies. Krishna is speaking to the warrior Arjuna. Arjuna faces hesitation because he knows he must face people on the battlefield he personally knows, including his own family members. Krishna tells him to move past his fear so he can fully embrace his dharma, for being a warrior was his duty. He teaches Arjuna to live according to his highest duty, which lies in fighting his strongest battles, not cowering on the sidelines. Arjuna obliges, picks up his bow, and fights onward. Hinduism is a peaceful religion rooted in ahimsa, the principle of nonviolence and compassion for all living things. Yet even here, the gods wanted you to live to your highest potential, which included showcasing courage. Hermeticism. Corpus Hermeticum. Book 1. Poimandres. But he that through the error of love loved the body, abideth, wandering in darkness, sensible, suffering the things of death. This text states that to grow closer to the divine, one must detach from obsession with the material world. Attachment to the material world keeps the mind trapped in lower states instead of pursuing higher knowledge. This higher space cannot be reached if you are caught in fear. The Kybalion, Chapter 8, The Principle of Polarity. The wise man rules his stars. The fool obeys them. By elevating your ability to handle stressful situations, your mental and spiritual state rises to a higher level of mastery, allowing you to rule circumstances instead of being ruled by them. Are you able to ascend higher, or does the base level of nature suit you best? Gnosticism, The Gospel of Mary, 5:2. Do not weep and do not grieve, nor be irresolute, for his grace will be entirely with you and will protect you. Mary Magdalene rallies the disciples after Jesus Christ was crucified. Fear and panic started to creep into their minds, and she stood to reassure them that Christ's grace would protect them on their journeys. After her words, the disciples wiped their tears and began talking about the teachings of their Savior. Fear will cause a distortion of reality. The disciples knew what they had seen and witnessed firsthand. Yet still, without the physical presence of Jesus Christ, they began to forget all that they had learned. How would you do? Would you cave to avoid persecution? Do you have the ability to stand firm in the face of opposition? Wicca, the Wiccan Rede. 8 words the Wiccan Rede fulfill. And ye harm none, do what ye will. This is considered the core ethical principle of modern Wicca. Wicca is not like the other religions discussed here in that there is no one canonical text. The Wiccan tradition is passed down through practice, ritual, and community. Distinctively, Wiccans practiced this concept and achieved a hard-fought battle in 2007. After 10 years of fighting and expressing their rightful desire to honor their dead, they successfully fought to have the pentacle recognized on U.S. military grave markers. Previously, symbols such as the cross and Star of David were approved, but the Wiccan communities had to fight hard to gain this ability. Proving harm none does not mean lie down and take it. Norse, Havamai, verse 16. A coward believes he will ever live if he avoids the fight, but old age will give him no peace, though spears have spared him. The Havamai is traditionally attributed to Odin, teaching humanity how to live wisely and honorably. It is among several other central texts for the Norse tradition, where strength, courage, and wisdom are taught to future generations. Verse 16 is an important discussion of the value of strength and courage over comfort. To avoid confrontation and let people walk all over you will be remembered far more vividly and painfully than the black eye or painful words ever could. That pain may one day be appreciated because it came from standing in self-respect. Choose yourself, your pride, your personal wisdom when presented with challenge and opposition. Come learn how to navigate discomfort. LaVeyan Satanism, the Satanic Bible, the 9 Satanic Statements, Statement number 4. Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Satanism is a philosophy where the central highest point is the individual Satanist. It is an atheistic philosophy centered around the sovereignty of self. Anton LaVey expands on this idea elsewhere, where he states, "Why should I not hate mine enemies? If I love them, does that not place me at their mercy?" In this philosophy, turning the other cheek is not considered virtuous. Strength, self-respect, and refusing submission to those who would mistreat you are viewed as the proper response. The Satanist is expected to defend their dignity rather than surrender it to those who would exploit weakness. Standing your ground isn't just allowed, it's expected. Thelema, the Book of the Law, Liber Alvel Legis 258. Ye deem not of change, and ye shall be as ye are, and not other. In this passage, the voice of Hadith teaches that we must remain true to our nature and not bend ourselves to satisfy others. That it is important to remain firm in your convictions. For us to live according to our true will, we have to stay the course. To follow one's true will requires discipline and courage, because society, fear, and comfort constantly pressure the individual to abandon their authentic path. We have to develop ourselves. Changing yourself to satisfy the expectation of others is discouraged in this philosophy. But I have to ask, can you hold the line? Stoicism, the Enchiridion, Section 1. Some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. This idea comes from Epictetus, a Greek philosopher who was once a Roman slave, gained his freedom, and became one of the most influential Stoic teachers. Epictetus made us consider that suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Understanding what you are responsible for and what you are not is an important lesson in adulthood. This lesson was further echoed by Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength," in Meditations 8:47. The Stoics believe strength comes from mastering yourself, not the outside world. Do you practice this element? Can you maintain your self-control under stress? It's much easier said than done, for some. Hedonism. Epicurus. Letter to Menocius. Section 130. We do not choose every pleasure whatsoever, but often pass over many pleasures when a greater annoyance ensues from them. Epicurus taught that pleasure was the highest good, but wisdom required the student to learn what is truly best for the individual. Knowing your limits is often learned in adulthood. Today, another way of saying knowing your limits would be having boundaries. True pleasure, according to Epicurus, requires discipline, the ability to refuse what feels good now if it costs you something greater later. Are you strong enough to enforce your boundaries? Can you stand tall when people don't like you? Or have you fallen too deep into your impulses? If every impulse controls you, then pleasure isn't freedom, it's just another form of weakness. Across religions, philosophies, and spiritual traditions, the message repeats itself. Stand firm, have courage, hold your ground. This lesson is delivered by prophets, philosophers, mystics, and warriors. The assignment remains the same. You will be tested. The question is, will you be ready to face it? At the Confrontation Gym, we teach you this skill because courage isn't inherited. It's trained. Thank you.